is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the Tradcon versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, you're homeless. You're literally just thrown out onto the street.
We absolutely reinforce bad behavior from women.
Wives are taught to leave their husbands, and then daughters grow up without their fathers.
Family is the foundation of the society.
Every problem in society comes from single mother homes.
A lot of women will just chase this negative rabbit hole of happiness, endless happiness.
Feminism's biggest failures is it lies to women. We tell women to date as many guys as possible. We tell them to put off family into marriage.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend.
Oh, freeze your ex, have an abortion. What? You're evil.
I don't think there's anything else in life that we actually ever go into preparing to fail.
Right.
Like if you have the mentality of this is going to go wrong and be pessimistic, naturally the outcome is going to be that it's going to fail anyway. Yeah. It's self-sabotage.
And that's the thing, like women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
This myth that we live in an age of male privilege. Where's my male privilege?
They think, well, men have all the rights. They have all the power.
Privileged patriarchal system that we have.
Why doesn't our society care about men's rights?
I have no friends,
no wife, and no social life.
Men are alone in this situation. Men are homeless. Men are thinking about eating guns.
I've seen so many men on the brink of suicide, and they didn't do anything wrong.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure.
Women are helplessly dependent upon men.
The so-called deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, or alcohol, 3 times higher among men than among women.
Culture is telling men, you are no good.
You got to get your act together.
I think men have failed themselves.
What kind of a man are you? What kind of a woman are you going to attract?
If men are in trouble, so are women.
Everybody knows this is a huge problem, but nobody wants to admit it.
Every single woman at the table said they wanted a man.
500K.
500K.
200K.
300K.
200K.
Am I crazy?
Everything is really set up against you to fail as a man.
If men make less than women, women don't want to marry them.
So you know who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
I don't want to be an independent woman anymore.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman.
I'm over it.
When is it going to be my turn? Where are we meeting the men that don't stop?
I can't keep having these same conversations.
The only simp here is you, Pearl. You simp for men.
I think you simp for women.
She's a provocateur. She says stupid stuff, but Pearl is right about this.
It's already happening. It's just not out in the open yet.
Now it's just hookup culture is going to be our fairy tale ending because men don't want a wife and women can't find a husband. The future, if everybody follows your path, is there is no future.
We go into population decline, and our economy goes into decline.
Civilization will crumble.
The American story does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. That was our trailer for our documentary. Because I want to put this out in my viewpoints, the ladies are not overly happy with me, and really the past year they've just decided to try to ruin and destroy my life. And I think maybe one day I'm going to go in depth on some of the things that I've had happen, because in the past 2 years, there's just been like crazy stuff that's happened. But one of them was that I got demonetized, and basically I had to close my entire business and build it back up from the ground up. I recently got remonetized, but because of that, we are trying to raise money for this documentary, and you guys are awesome. We actually are almost at $25,000. So the link to that is the second one in the description. The other way you can support getting this documentary out, shout out to Craig, who donated $1,000 yesterday, which is totally insane. So the other thing you can do is we have a members only community. You have to apply so we can make sure that you're like sane. The internet's a weird place, but at some point we're going to do events with that. And as I interview people, they're going to be having modules. For example, tomorrow we're having on Anton Daniels on the show, which will be an exciting one. And he's going to film a module about real estate before the show. So stuff like that. Basically, it's a one-time purchase. You're in it for life. And it basically, you're buying into the network, and that I'm going to interview smart, intelligent men forever, and I'm going to put them on the platform. So, okay. So today, I actually had an email I wanted to start the show with. Not an email, sorry. A video I wanted to start with the show as a pre-show that was requested. If you guys ever do have requests for interviews, or not interviews, reactions, it makes my job easier, so feel free to send them. So we're starting the show. Somebody asked me, and I have not seen this yet, to react to Charlie Kirk destroying an anti-woman man bashing marriage. So as you guys know, although I do like a lot of Charlie Kirk's stuff, I do consider him a super simp. And I do think he's very dishonest on the topic of marriage. Unfortunately, I wish he wasn't. But although I do like a lot of his conservative ideas, I very much do respect his work. He is a super simp. So today we're going to react to what he said.
Hedge, you are sitting on a ticking time bomb. Markets are all...
Oh my gosh. I will not. We are not. You're not giving me. We are skipping that. Okay. Thank you.
So here's my question. I fundamentally disagree with you in regards to having a family and getting married in this day and age. And I'll tell you why. 70% of the divorce rates happen because of women. Okay? That's a fact. Before we get angry, let's talk about the facts. You can Google this too. And on top of that, 85% of the men, or I should say people in jail, grew up in fatherless homes. So there's a direct correlation between those two things. So my
Charlie is going to get got so bad. I don't wish it on him, but he married like an influencer pageant queen. We've seen this film before, right? Yeah.
Thinking is that we don't need to necessarily have more families unless we have a complete change to the system. Now, what do you think about...
Kirk is such a super simp. That made perfect sense.
We need to change the system in order for us to have a nice conversation about, having a family, because the state incentivizes single motherhood in this country.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm sure Miss Arizona, sold his wife or whatever, sold purity to him, and that's what women have a tendency to do, and they do a very good job of it. I'm sure she did a very believable story, but look, the woman flew all over the world and got married at like 31 when she met Charlie. She only really could pull that off because she was really hot. But I just want to be realistic here. She was not like this pure trad wife, okay?
And you're looking at me with that face, but tell me why.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Like, what is your contention, that we shouldn't get married and have kids?
We shouldn't currently because of this particular issue right now.
What
the issue is...
Build that out further for me.
Okay, let me explain.
Outside of the fact that, the anti-woman thing that you said.
Oh, it's not necessarily anti-woman, it's a fact. You can Google it.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe he simped. Oh my gosh, I would cook him. How do I get to go to one of these debates? Oh my gosh.
But still.
What are the should I look at the comments?
And look at the divorce rates in this country. I'm just saying that if we're going to have more families, we need some protections in place for men. Because right now, the legal system actively destroys the man in court. All right? Is that false or is that true?
I mean, yeah, of course it's true that the state encourages divorce, but how about you find a woman that you want to spend the rest of your life?
I was married for 10 years. I was married for 10 years.
And then you should take responsibility for your own actions. Like, why is that my problem?
No, another thing is that you're saying you should...
Oh my God. This is such a bad look for Charlie. Holy shit. I didn't know he was this much of a simp. I knew he was a simp, but this is crazy. You're going to put that... How dare... Screw you, Charlie. Oh my gosh.
You're asking me if I should find a woman.
But hold on, you're going up in front of people, time out, to say marriage is bad because I had a bad experience.
No, but it's true statistically. We can look at the data. Is it wrong to say that, hey, 70% of divorces are initiated by women when the data says that?
Can I ask you a
Facts
provocative
don't care
question?
about your feelings, right?
Can I ask you a provocative question?
Yes,
Did you do anything that led to your divorce?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it wasn't all the woman's fault.
No, but I'm saying, but here's the thing. 70% of the divorces are initiated by them. And yes, this is an anecdotal situation. Like,
see, I reject the premise. I reject the premise. I think that we as men must lead. Women might initiate it, but we as men...
Yeah, but you can't lead somebody that won't follow. And Charlie's got to know this. He runs a big company. You can have employees and you can attempt to lead them. But if they don't follow you, I mean, that's when you got to let people go, you know.
And don't take the directive to have peace in the home. I reject the premise. Hold on, time out.
Okay, go on.
Let me finish. I reject the premise.
This guy cooked. If anyone knows his ats, put it in the chat. I'll DM him. I'll send him to the Zoom link if he wants to come on.
Yes, women might initiate the divorce proceeding, but we are the one as men that ignore the subterranean threat and the brush fire that is growing. We're the ones that should take the family back to church, that go seek counseling if necessary.
And I don't disagree with it.
It's not good enough just to say like, hey, it's women that initiate it. It's men who don't.
I'll say it.
Act, I think, confidently and strong enough in most cases to actually make sure that marriage is a safe haven to have children in a wholly protected place.
And I think that makes sense. And let me say this. Okay, let's find some common ground. So we know that the system is flawed, right? So here's the thing that's flawed about it. When the federal government incentivizes the state, at the state level, for child support enforcement programs, and we have a system where the state makes a bunch of money off of this, it's pretty parasitic because there's no such thing as a 50-50 custody in Wyoming, even if you get along with the parent. So when the state is actively involved with family matters and women are getting paid off from this, and this is not false, we have a toxic system that probably needs to be revised. Do you not disagree with that? Because
I think we should revise. I do believe in more men's rights in custody. I think that's fine. But let's take a step back, though, and I think it's very important, is that men are...
Oh, I just know he's gonna super simp. I just know it.
...objectively better when they are married and they don't stay as grown infant boys watching porn and playing video games all day long.
And I don't disagree with that.
Good, so we agree.
I disagree with that. Charlie, so the number one OnlyFans consumer is white married Christian men. Actually, a lot of OnlyFans and sex workers will tell you this. A lot of the people that are seeing sex workers aren't the single guys, it's the married ones.
I agree.
Here's my argument. Despite the problems of the legal system, of which your argument has some merit, we still should get married because it is the right thing to do. Despite the technical problems, despite the difficulties. In fact, it's us men to find a woman that we love and to protect that marriage and hope that it never goes in the direction of divorce. And
just 30%.
How did that work for Crowder? Same thing.
Though that's 30% chance that it succeeds.
No. About half marriages continue. It's not 30%.
No, because if 70. No, hold on a second. Because look at this. Why do we have such a society that is so hyper-focused on we need to have a bunch of children and get married, but we have this system in place, and I'm talking about the federal government, that incentivizes single parenthood. And we can look at most of these inmates in jail come from fatherless homes. maybe we should get rid of the state involved in personal family matters.
So you're conflating, you know why? The fatherless homes you're talking about are people that never got married in the first place most of the time. They're men
that's true.
They're men that impregnate women and flee the women that they were with. But understand this, that every generation has had troubles.
Yeah.
Our duty as men is to overcome obstacles, not whine about them and not complain about them. So yes, there is a problem here, but I would reject the premise. Every man here.
But who are you to tell grown men what to do? You're not their boss. Who are you to tell them that?
Every young man should say, I'm not going to be a boy and I'm going to go do the hard thing and get married and have children. And I would just push back against some of your narrative where you're telling like, well, men, it might not be good. It might not be this. Yes, life has lots of things that could throw at you, but marriage is a holy.
Yeah, but you don't. It's not holy, Charlie. Your marriage wasn't holy. Your wife wasn't a virgin. So this cosplay, like, it's getting old. People aren't buying this stuff anymore. People are getting tired of it. Like, it's not when you use your marriage as part of your brand, which Charlie Kirk does constantly, and you're bringing your wife on. That's not traditional. When your wife's got an open Instagram, that's not traditional. So it's like what they want to do is they want to make money off of the grift. And they're sending men to slaughter because men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, what he's saying, it's scum of the earth, you know?
Holy institution that we should aim for. And the fact that marriage is slipping in the West is one of the great damaging indicators as to why our country is falling apart.
You know what was interesting today? My old neighbor came back here. And this kid moved to Florida. And he's like back with his grandpa for the summer or something. And they were telling me that the demographic, or there's like no kids. So the kid is so lonely and like bored because there's no kids around. It's all like old people where they live. It's like, damn, what a world. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to show. Hold up. Yeah, here we go. Is modern women are really taking L's on dating apps. And then we'll get to the main event, okay? But I saw this on TikTok and I thought it was so funny. So as you guys know, women are sharing a smaller and smaller percentage of men every year. And now women are not only taking L's, but they're putting their L's online. And now we get the awesome. And as you guys know, when women take an L with a guy, they can't just take the L and move on. What they tend to have to do is take the L and ruin his reputation. So we're going to react to a woman who basically got played really bad by this Chad in Texas.
Hi, if you know this man, or you know somebody who maybe knows this man, or you live in Charlotte, North Carolina in general, or even South Carolina, please listen. His name is Alex. I've been seeing him since January, not entirely exclusive, his entire point, but to a point we were exclusive, and then on Saturday, he asked me to be his girlfriend. On Sunday, I found out I'm not the only girlfriend. Enter girlfriend 1 and 2. I'm actually girlfriend 3, crazy. One of which he's been dating for 9 months, and the other one he's been dating for over a year and is very involved with her and her 2 kids as a family unit. To say I was shocked was not, it doesn't even cover it, for lack of better words. The lies were thorough. The manipulation, so thorough. I like to think of myself as someone who's really intuitive, and I was picking up on things, but every response he had pretty much squashed any fears I had. There are 7 to 10 other women that he's potentially talking to and dating, just from some research that we've all done. As you know, we confronted him. And I do believe there's potentially other girlfriends that have yet to know about what he's doing. He does do this in cycles. This is not the first time that I'm aware of and he has admitted to me that he does this in cycles, and that he knows it's going to blow up in his face, yet he does it anyway because he can't be happy with just one person. He doesn't like this about himself. At least there's that. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be in this situation. I share all this because I know there's more out there. I've been reached out to from women from Wilmington and Asheville since, and for your mental health, your well-being, and all the things, I can't not expose this man for what he's done to me and other women. He was building lives with other women far more than, what we accomplished in our 5 months of dating. So for me, this is about making it so he can never continue doing this again.
He'll get to do it again. Women will continue to sign up. Yeah.
Actions to have him banned from the dating apps that we matched on. I really don't want to make this easy for him.
It's insane because women can get a bunch of money from men and brag about it, but they don't get banned on dating apps. But women will take a player off of a dating app.
At all. And out of respect for the other women, if you know of them, please respect their privacy and don't expose them. Please don't also reach out to his family or him. The goal of this is to not send hate his way, but rather make it so he can't do this again to any other woman. If you know somebody in Charlotte or you know somebody in South Carolina or he sounds familiar, again, his name is Alex, run. That's all I can really say. The work trips he tells you he's on are not work trips. He's with these other women and they're amazing. They're so strong. And I have a lot of admiration for them both, but it's not the circumstances we should have met in. And he took advantage of every single one of us and played us like fiddles. There are more of you. So if you need proof of any sort, if this video finds you, please reach out. I'm sorry that I have to be the one to tell you, but I don't want him to do this anymore. So thanks for listening.
I just thought it was funny, to be honest. I thought that was hilarious. Women, we're just broadcasting our L's on the internet, as we do. All right, so for the main event today. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I've said on my channel before that in 2025, men have no incentive to get married. Despite modern day feminism, and all this female empowerment BS, women still expect men to protect and provide. I'll go further today and say that men have no incentive to strive for success and climb to the top of the job market. Men used to go into the job market at 16 and work and put themselves in the best position for a wife and children. More women are choosing to be single instead of being a wife and having children, leaving men without the primary motivator of success that men had in the past. More and more men are checking out of the workforce. In fact, so many men have checked out that it's gaining national attention. In the 1960s, the male employment rate was 98%, and today the male employment rate is 90%, and everyone is losing their minds. On Jeopardy, a contestant was introduced as a stay-at-home son. He's 27 years old and is in between jobs living with his parents. Okay. Jeopardy champion Brendan Leah talks. Oh my gosh. All right, let me try again. Jeopardy champion Brendan Leah talks intense prep for the show and what's next. Brendan Leah went viral when he listed his occupation as stay-at-home son. Now the 3-day Jeopardy champion opened up about his studying habits for the game show and what was next for him after winning the average yearly salary for most people in 3 episodes. He asked host Ken Jennings to introduce him at the beginning of each episode as a recent grad and stay-at-home son. I figured even if I lost at my first game, at least I could make people laugh, he told the Wall Street Journal just days after his run ended. It sounds better than being unemployed. It's tough times right now, so let's try and get some laughter out there. Leah, who has a master's degree in political science, went home with a total of $59,000 in 3 episodes. He was defeated by Jim Carpenter, a retired music professor from Charlotte, Vermont, on Friday, May 23rd. The 27-year-old still lives with his parents and currently has no job after finishing school, but says that law school is in his future. I don't know what's going to happen with all this Jeopardy stuff and newfound publicity. If something better comes along, I'm not opposed to shelving the law school for a bit, but in the long run, government work or politics, I wrote my master's thesis on the House of Representatives, and I really want to work on the Hill. Working as a Senate staffer would be my dream job, basically, he told the outlet. My career doesn't really define me, and it should just be a thing where I'm okay with what I do as long as I make enough to pay the bills. Since he doesn't have a job and claimed that he he has all the time in the world. Liam's studying prep leading up to the episode was pretty intense, he shared. That he practiced with a fake buzzer as he stood in his living room in a suit watching Jeopardy episodes 5 episodes per day. I was doing cardio every day on getting on a stationary bike and watching an episode of Jeopardy to get my heart rate up. This helped him stimulate the nerves of being on the game show. No matter how much you prepare, walking onto the stage and having all the lights and the cameras and Jennings and an audience, there's no way to recreate that. Okay. Let's see. All right. So now the Tradcon women are freaking out. So women have been freeloaders for all of eternity. You know, not all. Remember, there are exceptions. But when it comes to having useless jobs, living off of the government, taking benefits, going to get a degree that makes no money, and accumulating a bunch of student debt we don't pay back. Women have been freeloaders for all of eternity, gold digging men. But now that like 10% of men are freeloaders, women don't know what to do. I also wonder if it's because a percentage of men are like Ubering and doing stuff like that where they wouldn't typically be like registered as employed. Okay, so of course, some of our favorite Tradcons had something to say about it. Here's Laura Ingraham and closet feminist Tommy Lauren tearing down men because of this new supposed trend. All right. Let me turn the sound on. Here we go. Yeah, they're freaking out. I don't know who does. They have too much money to have this bad of Botox. You got to get whatever Ivanka's doing.
Reaction, Tommy Lauren, Outkick host. Tommy, now, we called them on my old radio show. We did the whole thing on mamonis, right? The Italian word is for the mamonis, or they stay at home, and the moms like the son staying at home longer. But the phrase is becoming popular of these stay-at-home sons because an unemployed Jeopardy contestant says he was just trying to make people laugh. But is this an actual problem in our society?
It's a major problem. And, you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkward.
Right. And here, it's kind of rich that she's saying Gen Z is lazy. We're commentators, Tommy. And this is the thing, the women, they get success early. Like she was a Fox News host at like 21. And we think we're given it because of how intelligent we are, hardworking. It's really just being hot, right? And Tommy's not even that hot. She's like a 6.
Awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son.
She also said social awkwardness. I'm sorry to cut it twice, but I think conservative women are actually more socially awkward because they just nag men. And she doesn't even realize how like naggy this sounds, you know.
And they did much the same thing with quiet quitting, where you can go to work and do less. And if you call it quiet quitting, it's somehow better. But Laura, I got to tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable.
Yeah, but they want to do it with like Chad instead of an average guy. And you proved the point, Tommy, because you married an MLB ex like baseball player. She'll probably cheat at Fox.
Families, but there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash, and therein lies a big part of the problem.
Well, and also with the rise of AI and AI dating, as they call it, which is sick, it's going to be even easier and perhaps more attractive for these types of individuals to remain behind closed doors. And what does that do to families and young women and dating?
I also blame the social conditioning of the COVID era, the dumbest era in modern American history, because a lot of people, especially these young people, they grew up like this, thinking that it was safer at home, thinking that outside was dangerous, interacting with people was scary. So now you got people that want to literally stay inside and play video games and have AI girlfriends, and that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems.
No, we have declining birth rates because women don't want to be mothers. They don't. If we wanted to, we would.
Society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
Here we go again. Conservative women nagging. What else would they do with their free time? Okay, we got another one from Laura Ingram. Oh, is this the same
Johnson
one?
Has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks. It's a major problem. And
oh, we watched this one already. Okay, what do the comments say? Just watched your segment on unemployed young men and the narrow-minded shaming of these young men that you both spewed for most of the segment. The only reason you stopped was to, with no self-awareness whatsoever, chuckle at Democrats for not getting men. Truth is, you're every bit as clueless as the Democrats. You don't know it. These young men you're shaming are also the same demographic that aren't bothering to pursue relationships with women either. Most are pursuing training or other paths to success in life. They are literally broadcasting to you that they see no real future for themselves, and you turned it into a punchline. I understand this gives you a chuckle, but I have to wonder if it ever occurred to you to take, say, 30 seconds to think about inquiring meaningfully into such a serious problem. Have you ever spent any real time talking to young men about why they're checking out? Do you even care? I think you've already made that answer to the last question obvious. If for no other reason, you might consider this. Some of the male vote that put Republicans over the top in November came from the guys you're mocking and belittling. If you don't care about them as people, at least be smart enough to care about their votes. Both of these women are very obvious feminists that pose as conservative, so the Fox News crowd will listen to them. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep asking what's in it for men. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to providing, when it comes to success in the job market, what's in it for men? No one can give me an answer. All they want to do is bitch and complain and tell men they're not doing enough, as usual. The days of men sacrificing for their mental, emotional, monetary, and physical health while asking for nothing in return. Men used to do that as a duty, but women called that patriarchy. American women and American society are going to have to figure out a way to incentivize men before it's too late. So we're going to put a link in the chat. And the call in today is, what do you think about men checking out of the job market? And do you think it's okay for a man in his 20s to live with his parents? And did you ever go through a period where you checked out of the job market or were unemployed? So we're going to put the Zoom link in the chat. And you guys can call in. Let me know. Maybe I'm off base. You know, it's up to you. If I look this way, guys, I'm always looking at the chat. I don't want you guys to think I'm not. The cameras are further back here. So a lot of YouTubers, it's like right under the camera. And the new set we build, it'll probably be a little bit. Oh, did we just hit? Okay. But while we're waiting, guys, if you want to apply to our members only community, it is the first link in the description. You do have to apply because the internet is a weird place and I have to make sure you guys are normal. I know most of you are, but it just takes one. We're going to do events. We have dating modules on there. We have modules on how to evade child support from a child support officer. We have all different types of courses, and it's early stages, but we're really trying to build out the school community. So if you're interested, sign up for a sales call. We could see if it's the right fit or not. So the link is in the description. No pressure, just if you guys want. Eventually, you guys will meet me because we are going to do in-person events. And it's a one-time, lifetime purchase, and you're done. Doug MPA, are you on the line?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing, Pearly?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I love this subject.
What do you think about men checking out of the dating market?
Modern women are taking advantage of men like a spoiled kid with their favorite toy. And what do you do when that happens? You take the toy away from them. And that's what men have to do. Women, they want to boss up. They think that they can do whatever a man can do. Let them. Because feminists have rewritten history. You hear women talk about the 60s. Well, women had to stay home and men got to go out and work. Like, work is fun. Honestly, they've rewritten history. And so, men, we just have to check out. And then when everything, I remember when Coach Greg Adams, he was on Saucecast, and his, that guy's 20-year-old Gen Z producer was like, Greg Adams, you're saying all this stuff about women, but don't you have a daughter? He's like, yeah. Does she know you say all this stuff? He's like, yeah, of course. Well, you know, what do you say to her? He's like, I don't say anything. I think his daughter's a teenager. He's like, look, anything I tell her to do, she's going to do the opposite. So I told her, come to your dad when you got burned enough times and you're ready to actually listen. And that's what men need to do. Women need to burn themselves enough times and say, men, we're tired of being out here. Being a man is not fun. Guys, remember, the journey of a man. You turn 16, you get a job, and you're going to work until you're dead. A lot of us, we're not going to get any. Tommy Sotomayor said most guys don't get any kind of praise until we are in the ground, right? So you turn 16, you get a job, you work until you're dead, and hopefully along the way, you get a highly valued skill, highly valued trade, highly valued education, so you can put yourself in the best position to be able to live the life you want to live or support a family, right? And women, they think they want the journey of a man. They think they want a whole life of paying all the bills and paying for a mortgage and shouldering that responsibility. And more women are finding out that it's not fun, especially right around 35. That's when women start looking around and say, man, am I going to have to pay all these bills for the rest of my life? Remember, women reserve the right to change their minds about anything, guys. A lot of women, they want to smoke until they're 35, 45, and then they want to rush to find a relationship in a man. But anyway, sum it up in saying, I used to tell the guys, I used to mentor guys, if your parents could facilitate you living at home while you're working a professional career, do it. Live at your parents' house. One of the best ways to avoid wasting money on women is live at your mom's house, your dad's house.
Is there ever an age where you don't think it's okay?
Say again?
Is there ever an age where you don't think it's okay?
In a modern society, no. Nope. If you are productive, once again, if you have a highly valued skill, highly valued trade, you're stacking money, go for it.
Do you know what? I know there's someone I know that I know him. He's a very productive guy, but he does live at his parents' house. And I told him to just tell women that it's his house.
Yeah.
I was like, just lie, because it's not like you're jobless. Like, I was like,
and also,
I was like, yeah, just say, you're letting them stay with you. They're having health issues, as his dad does like push-ups in the living room.
Well, and also, we're one of the only cultures where it's not socially acceptable for multiple generations to live in the same house anyway.
Yeah.
All of my Latino friends, my friends from South America, all of my Asian friends. In fact, I'm from Washington State, and a lot of my Asian friends, they went off to college, they came back, moved back in with their parents, they got a professional job, and then they spent most of their mid-20s starting their career in dating, and then they would find their wife or their husband while they were living at home, and the first time they moved out was out of the house that they bought. American culture, black kids, black and white, we just kick our kids out, and I have no idea why.
Did you ever go through a period where you were checked out of the job market or unemployed?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
I was like, I don't.
You know, I do think that you owe it to yourself to be as productive as you can as a man, because we still have the masculine burden of performance. But I don't blame guys who just don't have, but I'm also in my mid 40s. I grew up with the dream of having a family. I don't have any children, but, so I was raised that way, but I don't see any reason, like, the modern man has to want to be successful, but women create a world where a man doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
did anyone call in?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to bring in, guys, make sure to like the video. We're at over 2 million subs, so thanks for getting us there.
Yeah,
we really
we're blowing
appreciate it.
past it.
And make sure to drop a super chat to support the channel. David, are you there?
Yeah, what's up? Can y'all hear me?
Hey,
Yep.
David,
How's it
how
going,
are
buddy?
you?
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
So what do you think about men checking out of the job market?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. Whenever you're playing a game that you can't win, or the game that's like rigged against you, as men, we tend to like find solutions for this, and like being pragmatic about these types of things is kind of what like women don't like. Women really like are intimidated by men that like know their worth. So
and do you know anyone? Have you ever checked out of the job market, or do you know anybody personally that's checked out, it's unemployed?
yeah, I mean, I haven't had like a real job in like over 5 years. I mean, I've long since checked out of like, I used to work in like retail environments, and it's just women everywhere. Like, you literally go anywhere, go to any restaurant, go to any fast food place, go to any retail environment. It's just women everywhere. That's all it is. It's just women everywhere. There's no men. And the men that are there are all freaking, you already know.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what was the career path you wanted to do? And was there like a moment that stopped you where you just decided this didn't make sense?
I always wanted to be a musician, and like there was never really anything that was stopping me from that, because like I had to grow up super, super quick compared to all my peers. Like, I got kicked out of the house at like 17 and like never got to live with my parents beyond that. So I had to grow up pretty fast, and like I always wanted to be a musician, but I realized pretty quick that like I'm not that great, So I had to like figure other things out. And once I did that, it was pretty like, it's pretty straightforward. Like, I knew all this stuff about the red pill and like all this manosphere stuff that people talk about now. I knew about this stuff when I was in like high school, like when I was like 15, because like I had an older sister, and she wasn't going to let me get finessed by women. You know what I'm saying? So like, she really put me on to like how things actually are.
So what do you do now? You like Uber, or like, how do you?
I trade crypto. That's all I do. All I do is trade Bitcoin. That's all I do.
Okay. And so are you listed as unemployed then?
Shit, I don't even really know. Like, I really consider myself like, I live outside of the system. You know what I mean? Like, people talk about the matrix and all this stuff. It's like, I really live outside this shit, and I've been doing it for a long time. It's just like, it's not as glamorous as people might make it seem. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing it on a really big scale. And like, I'm more focused on like learning guitar and like learning my instruments and like, being involved in like music and stuff, to like really care that much. I just want to be able to like not have a 9 to 5 where I'm getting bossed around by women all day. Cause that's what it was. Like, when I was working at retail jobs, it was just being bossed around by women who can't, it's like, I'm over here lifting 80-pound bags of concrete and you're like bitching at me. And it's just like, yo, I'm not getting paid enough for this shit.
Yeah.
I'll find something else to do.
A middle school math teacher. And he said, rarely does he get to spend time actually teaching, because any disciplinary problems in the women's classrooms, they call him over. Any kind of tough situation, he gets called out of his classroom to go to different classrooms, because he's one of the only men in the school. So they had to put a thing and say, look, leave this guy alone. You have to learn how to fit. Yeah, but what if a middle school boy is acting up? I'm a woman. Yeah, but this is what you ladies asked for.
Yeah, they just take advantage of the men. They take advantage of men any chance they can get because they know that like they have the leverage and like it goes a lot deeper than just like, you know, work environments. Like this is a big issue. And like it's funny that Tommy Loren, all she has as a solution is like grow up. It's the same old thing over and over again. It's like, oh, you guys need to grow up. You need to stop being so childish. It's like, oh man, there's just so much I could say. It's
for a
just
living.
like
I'm like,
the
bitch,
pompousness.
I'm like, bitch, you don't pour concrete or something. You talk. Like I do too, but let's not pretend.
Like, what does she do? Like,
yeah, I know. I'm like, let's not pretend that this is like a grueling job that men have to, you know.
No, it really it makes me like so like physically upset that sometimes like I can't even like I look at clips like that and I just like. It makes me so angry. I feel like they're doing it on purpose. You know, I feel like it's a psyop.
Well, the worst part about it is I keep saying it, feminists are worse than these fake Tradcon hoes because the feminists, the tattoos, green hair, give them away. But the Tradcon fakies, they blend in. And it's not until they open their mouths where they start spewing. You can take the same thing that Tommy Loren says about men, and then the same thing as Jabba the Hutt from yesterday, and you can take their words and it looks like it's coming from the same person. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just women at the end of the day. You know, like we can't really listen to anything they say unless it's Pearl, obviously, wink, wink. But it's like I don't understand why dudes are still like buying into this shit. I know most of them don't. Like I have faith that most guys are like not really buying into all this stuff, but it's just like, man, what do we do?
well, women vote with their feelings. Men vote with their feet and their wallets. Men are spending less, and we're just not getting involved. So we already have a solution. And apparently, like Pro covered yesterday, the Democrats are going to spend $20 million on how to talk to men.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next caller, but thank you for calling in, David.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, okay? Always a pleasure.
Right. Let me put you back in the way. Up next, we have Andres. Are you there?
Oh, hey, yeah.
Hey, Andreas, how are you?
Hey, Pearly, how are you?
I'm good. So what do you think about men checking out of the job market?
Oh, I got no problems with it. I think if they can find a way to make a living and survive by whatever means, go for it. Of course, as long as it's not, you know, I would say, obviously, like, illegal. You know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, I mean, you know, there used to be, remember back, well, you probably don't remember, Pearl, you're a little young, but back in the day, they used to have beach bums in California and stuff. And I went to college with one, and, you know, he's just like the chillest guy I've ever seen. And I'm like, you know, I was all hard pressed and trying real hard in college and, you know, to become a musician, kind of like the other dude that just talked. And I did become a musician, but yeah, that's a really hard life. He thinks carrying cement was hard. Being a musician's probably harder because I did the equivalent of both. And you know, not having money, and I mean, it was fun for a while, right? But you know, always being broke and always getting rug pulled by the government. You know, you get a speeding ticket and you're screwed for the month, right? So
let's say you have a young guy who's 20 years old and maybe he completed community college, but then he's like, I don't know what I want to do. Should I keep going to college? Should I get like a blue collar job? What would you tell a 20-year-old guy to do in this current market when it comes to what he should do with his life?
Oh, man, just don't go into debt for college, especially. Absolutely don't do that. try to find some kind of trade or something that you like doing and just grind on it, you know? That's what I would do, even if you have to, you know, get a side job or something like that. That's kind of what I ended up doing, except I went to college first, but we're in a different time now, and there's no way I would ever tell any man to go into debt for college, especially now, or even to pay for it. If they're having to work for it, yeah, don't do it.
Did you ever have a period where you were unemployed and you checked out?
Oh yeah, a couple of times, around 2008.
And what?
Unsurprisingly.
What caused it? Was it just the circumstances, or was it a choice, and why?
Well, I wasn't really unemployed. I was more like underemployed. I was still working for myself, doing gigs and stuff as a musician. But, you know, when they do the, you know, economy rug pulls, I mean, it happened to me 3 times already. So that's when I was like, you know, luckily during the COVID one,
how old are you,
I developed a trade.
How old are you?
I'm 47.
Yeah, so we're contemporaries. I'm in my mid-40s too, and our generation has seen more economic upturn and downturn than any other generation.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous. But yeah, hey, what was that other question? Like living with the parents?
Yeah, do you think it's okay for a man to live with his parents in his 20s?
So absolutely. In fact, I think that's what they should do if they can, because in fact, a friend of mine who's a millennial, he did that and was able to work and just save money. He didn't go to college, and he ended up getting married, and then, you know, they're doing good, man. They got a house together, and they're one of the very few, you know, that are doing good. I've got a couple of friends that have been married for a long time, but, you know, I wasn't near as lucky. So, you know, yeah, and part of it was my fault too for being a brokey, you know, being a musician all those years.
Yeah.
You know,
do you regret?
Nobody wanted to marry the broke guy.
Do you regret like being a musician when you were younger? Or are you happy you did it?
Yeah, I don't regret it. I just kind of regret that. Let me put it this way. I wish I would have taken a different path of being a musician than I did. In other words, I put all my eggs in that basket because we hadn't gone through what we went through, you know, since 9/11. 9/11 is when I got out of college, right? That like literally that was right after the semester I got out of college. So everything started going crazy, and, you know, I tried to make it work out, and I don't regret it at all, because, you know, it's like an itch you got to scratch if
at least, you know,
if you have the talent. Yeah. And I had the talent, and I still do, and I'm still trying to get back into it here little by little now that I got money. But, you know, still it's still not an easy road, and it's pretty much impossible to make it big, you know, nowadays.
And you got to pay them bills.
Yeah, that too. But, you know, that, I mean, we're looking at all the Diddy situation, right? Yeah, I knew that a long time ago. I was like, oh no, I'm not selling out for anything like that, you know.
Two Thrive says, "Hey David, your story is the same as mine. Let's connect. What's your IG, bro?"
Cool. All right, Andres. Well, thanks for calling in, man. You call in anytime, okay?
Yeah, call in anytime.
Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, next up we have our brother from the Outback. No, he's from New Zealand. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Fight Sport Talk. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, thanks for calling in. What do you think about men being unemployed?
Well, I don't think it's surprising because, well, it's definitely not something I would support if guys are just crashing out of the job market because they don't like how it is. I mean, obviously, none of us like how it is with the trends that you guys always talk about. But again, it's not surprising. I mean, I feel this is if I was to compare it to anything, it would be the Me Too movement. I'd love to use different wording, Pearl, but you said it for me earlier that girls complained that men working over women or being over women in the workforce was patriarchy, but now that women have more control, they don't like how it's going. And the reality is, well, this is what you asked for. And this is exactly what's going on. So it's not surprising. As far as have I ever done it? No, I've been working consistently since I was 14. There was a few months break, but nothing serious. But I definitely had moments where I wanted to leave. And since it's relevant, I'll just mention two examples. Excuse me. One, I was just doing odd jobs while I was at university, and the female managers were just very bossy for the sake of it. And it didn't even take anything special for me to tell that they were doing it because they liked having power over young men. And kind of like how we would complain if men were doing it, saying, look, this guy's being rude for no reason. I would say, well, can you tell this woman to stop being a bitch for no reason? And people didn't the upper managers didn't like that. There was a time, because I was in sort of the red pill rage phase, where I just started calling them feminists, and I was disciplined for that. So I had times when I wanted to leave, but you got to make money. Sorry, another reason this has been very personal to me, because I just couldn't talk to anybody about it, even my friends, mainly because this was at the height of the Me Too movement. Female lecturers at university were being just sorry, I've just had lunch.
Okay.
Absolutely terrible. I mean, if male lecturers were bad, they were just bad at their job, point blank. But we had females who weren't just bad they didn't know what they were talking about. They would go off on feminist diatribes during lectures. And as somebody who was paying for my own education, I absolutely hated this. So I would put complaints in and nobody responded to it. You even had, last example on this. There was one who went on to a rant about Alex Jones, somebody who I am not a fan of, because he's a bit too conspiratard for me. But nonetheless, it was completely irrelevant to what was being discussed. And this was all from a pro-liberal, political standpoint. And it was awful. I mean, paying for this kind of stuff, it was unbearable. So I say all of this to say, I don't think men should just throw in the towel. I mean, if you can make money by yourself, which I'm trying to do right now, perfect. But I can understand why they're doing it, because the market is just very anti-male. And as you pointed out, Pearl, more and more conservatives ignore this. I mean, Tomi Lahren's just one of them. Candace Owens, I have been a big fan of hers for years, but her insistence on talking about stuff that is not necessary, i.e. Emmanuel Macron's wife, is like, can you talk about stuff that's relevant? And she doesn't. So it's all frustrating.
Yeah. Doug MPA, you have any other questions for him?
Yeah. This is off topic, but what do you think about Macy Barber, man?
Well, actually, I mean, that's actually a very good example. I can link it to the conversation. I mean, typical because, I mean, speaking again about real life examples in the workforce, I got to the point where I stopped talking about this on Twitter because all of the vast majority of the MMA media is woke, like the mainstream media. And if you point out, look, bringing women into the UFC was bad enough, but giving them high profile main events when they don't deserve it is worse, it lowers the standard dramatically, they all hate you for it. And this is just a classic example because, I mean, missed weight because of a certain operation, i.e. chest, and then couldn't even make it to the fight and is suddenly crashing out of hospital. So,
I'm going to catch Pearl up. So what happened was there was a UFC fight on Saturday, Pearl, and these two flyweights, these two women at 125 were going to fight. and this girl Macy Barber got a boob job, and she's been having health problems ever since. And she had to pull out of the fight. Like, she's about to walk out to the cage, and she had to pull out of the fight.
Wait, what's her name?
Yeah.
Macy what?
Macy Barber.
Macy Barber.
Maycee. Barber. Barber. Barber.
Yeah, sorry.
she got
sorry,
it
Doug.
from
I'll
a
just,
boob
if I could
job?
Huh?
Yes.
What ghetto
Yes,
doc-
Macy Barber got a boob job, and sorry.
I'm like, what ghetto doctor did you go to? Did you go to like Guatemala?
Google it real fast. Put Macy Barber, and you can see before and after. And there's another fighter, Kat Zingano, where she had problems for years, health problems for years, and when she took her breast implants out, all of her health problems went away. So she fought a lot of her career with health problems for her boob implants. Isn't that crazy?
Not at all. She can make more money on her OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Than she'll make as a fighter. If anything, it's pragmatic. She should drop the OnlyFans now.
I know. Stop fighting.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just be a little sick, but make millions of dollars instead of getting hit in the face basically for free.
And if I could just, sorry guys, if I could just throw one thing in there since you brought this up, Doug. I mean, it's very common. And again, Pearl, you mentioned it's the OnlyFans thing because OnlyFans is the way to go for women these days. But that's, I mean, the worst thing for me was when girls missed weight repeatedly, and it was for, go figure, periods. And this would get excused. So that, I mean, we all hated it, we all despised it, but and one of the reasons why people like me have supported Dana White over the years is because he never bought into those excuses because it's not. So, but this is just another example of standards being lowered when you bring women into a sport where, again, they don't belong. So, yeah, but thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, we'll be in touch in the future. All the best.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay, next up, we have JC Jackson. 1 second. Connecting audio. Guys, make sure to like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 3 million. And JC Jackson, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, JC,
Yep.
how are you?
I've been good.
So what do you think about men checking out of the job market?
Well, you need some type of income. But I think as long as you can have something that you enjoy and it's not as much as of a job, as more of as a passion that you happen to get paid for. That's kind of how I've treated, not for myself. I was the responsible guy that got a job and supported younger siblings and my children. But for my younger brother, I was like, hey, do what you want. I'll always support you if you need a fallback.
So do you think it's okay for a guy in his 20s to live with his parents?
Oh, yeah. I've been talking to my wife right now. I want to build a family compound, and I want our kids to live with us, not exactly in our house forever, but hey, if we can build them the house next door or the mini home next door when, so I want to bring the clan back together, not really we've gone to individual families now in the U.S. and everybody that when they're 18 to 25, everybody leaves. Mm-hmm. But used to people lived you live 1 or 2 doors down from your parents because they helped you with the house, they helped you with the lawn, they helped you raise the kids. It literally people used to live together as clans, and it's just I'm trying to get my family back to doing that because I can't. I mean, I don't feel like driving a few hours just to see somebody.
And did you ever go through a period where you checked out of the job market or you were unemployed?
So, no, but that was different circumstances. I know I told this story one time, but I had a kid when I was still in high school and went still into the military straight out of high school to provide for that. But if I didn't have either one of my kids, I wouldn't work the way I worked.
And do you know anybody, any guys that are checked out of the job market? And do you happen to know their reasoning?
My younger brother checked out of like the serious job market. And he went through a couple bad breakups with some girls, and he was so frustrated with feeling like he was getting nowhere in life. And he's young. He was like 24, and but he went into the military. And I told him, I said, don't take the job or the MOS unless you like it's something you enjoyed. But he finally got his recruiter to agree to something he likes, and now he enjoys his life. He's over in Japan, and I told him, I said, look, just don't do the job if you don't like it. Never. I've already had kids, so my brother's like says he's never having kids, so he never feels like he has to provide for anyone except himself.
And you said he's 24.
Yeah, he's 25 now, but yeah, he was 24 when we had this conversation.
Okay, Doug MPA, you got any other questions for him?
You get credit over here for being that rock for your family and your siblings, man. Don't ever think that the people around you don't know what you've done, what you've done in the past, what you're doing in the present, and what you're going to do in the future. Okay.
Yeah. It's hard though, because like, a lot of people don't see it. Children, and sometimes the women in your family do not see it. My father and my grandfather are say they're very proud of me because of the sacrifice I did, but my mother, I've told horror stories of my mother before. It goes right over their head.
Yeah, that's women. All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling in. Call in anytime.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Next we have Jay's coming in, joining. Oh, it's taking a little bit. Jay, are you there? Jay, connecting audio.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Oh, going well, guys. Good to see you guys again.
What are your thoughts on men checking out of the job market?
Well, you could argue that I checked out of the job market myself.
Okay.
About 2 years ago. Now, the reason for that was I came to the end of a contract rather abruptly. I was one of quite a large pool of software engineers that were pulled out of their contract suddenly here in New South Wales, Australia. And so I was faced with a decision at that time, the promise of AI automations and AI agents was in the horizon. And so I thought to myself, well, look, you can spend the next, a year, maybe 2 years that you've got as a software engineer, only to get to that point and find that the industry has changed and then, quite frankly, there are no jobs left. Or you can use that time to skill up in AI, design some good applications and do the work to put the stuff out there and become your own boss, and subsequently maybe even create opportunities for other people. So I decided to create opportunities for other people and set up my own business, if you like. So I'm literally weeks away now from launching not one, not two, but 3 apps.
And so on your taxes, or are you listed as unemployed? Would you be in that stat technically, even though you're doing all this?
Oh, I am definitely listed as unemployed. In actual fact,
okay,
there is a program here in New South Wales that I've actually just signed up for, which is entrepreneurs who are currently unemployed. So there is definitely that.
Okay.
But I think that this notion that men are sort of checking out because they're lazy or they're hopeless. No, we're very, very pragmatic. We see the writing on the wall. And there's also this thing of, well, what's the point? Certainly in my case, anyway, what was the point of me being in a career for which not only was I going to face a severe drop in income, but I may actually find myself with no income because the job market has changed dramatically. I'm 58 years of age. 2 years from now, what am I going to be competing with? Guys in their early 20s? No. So I made what I felt was to be a tactical decision to spend the last 2 years upskilling, really sort of positioning myself for what I feel is, a better future.
And did you move home like with family, or are you still on your own?
So I sort of moved closer to my sons. I'm divorced.
Okay.
I moved closer to my sons. So he had to, move into like more affordable accommodation, if you like. So there were certainly sacrifices to be made. Also realizing the fact that, quite frankly, as far as the opposite sex were concerned, the modern woman today, she's not looking to support a guy who's got, ideas about the future. They need to see someone who's made and has the full package now. So there was this real sense and this feeling that, look, in terms of, what's out there, what my prospects are for money, for the opposite sex, for jobs in the future, make the sacrifice now, come out of the market, and then position yourself so that you're much stronger. And I see a lot of men, certainly in my vicinity, who are also thinking exactly the same. Or I see men now who have got jobs and they're seriously concerned about the next 6 months.
Because they think AI is going to take their job?
It's not so much they think that AI is going to take their job. It's just that corporations are making the obvious decision to reduce the fat in favor of AI automations can 100x output and what have you else. I mean, and this is what I saw 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie, guys. You can imagine certain members of my family 2 years ago thought I was nuts. They thought I was the guy who, the media and the internet would like to portray as, or you're stepping that job market because you're lazy. You're just checking out or whatever else. No, I could see the writing on the wall. And as a man, you've got to make decisions. You've got to make sacrifices for what you feel is a better future.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Great.
Well, it makes sense. Doug MPA, you got any other questions for him?
No, man, I wish you well, and I'm hoping that you find a good income, and remember, and just avoiding this 9-to-5 grind will help you live longer, man.
Thank you so much, guys. Absolutely. I've got a better my health and that lot has improved dramatically, I will say.
I would imagine.
Great.
All right, buddy, call anytime, okay?
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Okay. We're going to bring up, I'm going to let him cut the line because we haven't heard from our good friend in a while. Dustin.
Yo.
What's up, May?
Oh, another day, another dollar.
How are you, Dustin?
I am so good. How are you, Pearl?
I'm good. What do you think about men checking out of the job market? I know you got something to say.
Dude, hang on, Oakley. Men have to check out because, this is why we have AI. Because women were bitching, so we were like, let's put them in the workforce. And then they couldn't do a good job, so guys were like, now we'll build robots. And then the robots just got better at everything. And now men are like, you know what, fine. Women can win. They can just have it all. They can have their little robots, take our money. And that's where we're at. So men can check out.
So you think it's okay for a guy to live with his parents?
Oh, for sure. If his standards are low, if he doesn't care about life and he's checked out, for sure, go. I think the key to success for men is probably living with your parents as long as possible so you can save your money. because most women that you're going to sleep with when you're living with your parents, you're not going to end up with. So you should be, and then when you get out, you have a lot of money, and then, you know, you get entangled with the chick that was just a little bit better looking than the last one.
Well, and you could just lie and say it's your house.
Oh, or that. I would do that when my parents would be away on their boat, and I'd be like, yeah, I own this. All of it's mine.
Why did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go through a period where you were checked out of the job market or unemployed? And what led you to that, if so?
No.
Not you.
Guys, like, I could never be checked out because I put all my value in how many women I was sleeping with. So, like, I can't not work.
Oh,
you know?
and you would, and you would pick them up at work too.
Yeah, dude. Yes, it's the best. You have to.
Oh, that's so funny. All right.
The girl I'm talking to now, I met at work.
Oh yeah.
And I wish I never went out with her, to be honest. But yeah.
Why? What's going on? What's she doing?
She just won't shut up. Like, she texts me all day about life. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm like, don't you work? And then she send me her STD results. Like, she doesn't have anything, thank goodness. But she was going into, like, graphic detail how they got the specimens. And I was like, dude, I'm like, you just need to send me the result. I don't care how the burger's made. Jesus. And
but this, like, man, I want to feel bad for you, Dustin, but you live in Portland, bro. Like, everything you tell me, I already know it's gonna happen to you, man.
But you gotta
get.
he's got a son, right?
She has a boy, and like I don't know, because Doug said he dates single women, so I was curious. Have you ever met women who like despise their kids?
Oh yeah.
No.
It's like most women.
I don't date single mothers, bro. No.
I thought you dated one.
Yeah, I did one.
Okay.
But
just
last
that
time was
one.
like 5 years ago, but I can't, dude. Like, no, I stay away from it.
And like, I'm definitely, this will be my last one maybe, but the way she talks to her son in front of me, I'm like, dude, I feel so bad for this kid. She tries to tell my daughter, we hung out twice. She tried to tell my daughter what to do. And I was like, hey, like, if my daughter wants to go jump off this slide and break her leg, I'm going to let her do it, because she's got to learn, like, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's insane.
Well, thanks for calling in, Dustin. Doug MPA, you got anything else for him?
Nah, man. Drop kick this broad. Change your number, man. Watch out. The crazy Portland ones will get you.
Get it? Yeah, he'll end up on Are We
Kicker.
Dating the Same Guy Portland.
I hope so. Anyways, thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Always good talking to you. Have a good one.
I just feel like he would end up on that page.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, we're gonna have Rodolfo. Rodolfo, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, Rodolfo, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm good. So, what do you think about men checking out of the job market?
I think it's can you hear me pretty well?
I can hear you.
AirPods. Oh, great. I think it's pretty predictable, the way, like the last caller was talking about. The woman couldn't do the job. Like, they tried to introduce women to the workforce, but they couldn't do it well. So then they replaced men with robots because they're easier to command and they don't bitch about, their problems. But like I was explaining to my girlfriend, it's all layered, isn't it? That the industrial age brought in machines, and then slowly but surely, humans were being replaced by machines. And that's what's happening in relationships. It's just that girls are taking advantage of it more than men are. Yeah, because like, I know you're on YouTube, so I don't want to get too graphic, but the toys that women can use for themselves, they can get a relationship out of that because it doesn't talk back, and they can get their own money, they can get their own house, they have
dogs and cats. They can treat like their kids.
They can have a say in the relationships they want because they can just boss all these things around. Like if you look at girls, they get pit bulls that are domesticated to the bone because they want to change a beast into something they can cuddle with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what their nature is. They look at a lion and they're like, I want to take the teeth out and the claws out and keep it as a pet. But man,
you see the pit bull Rottweiler thing a lot with B-dubs. Have you seen that one pit bull on? I think he's on Instagram where this black woman like literally treats him like it's her kid, like just a spoiled child. It's insane.
I mean, you could just go in Austin and see that, and it's crazy, you know. But back to what I was saying is that everything's just replacing man because it's just easier. And you know, I don't want to say it's our fault as men. It's our responsibility for sure. We should speak out more about this. But I was listening to Patrice O'Neal, and I always mention this guy back on the Opie and Anthony show in 2005, 2010. He was talking about how we all killed context. And this was back in 2005. That's something that the conservatives are missing nowadays. Like, because Charlie Kirk is half right that men should stand up, but he's not being completely honest. And we all know that because he doesn't have the balls, unfortunately, to tell the truth about women and share how much they have to blame as well. And that's the real frustrating part is like, yeah, Charlie, we get it. We're supposed to work and all that. But why am I what's the point if I can just get fired from my job the next day and I can get divorced by my wife and she can go on TikTok and blame me as a racist, as a rapist, as a this in 20 seconds? Like, can I not have a guarantee that me as a good dude, I'm going to get something out of this life for working really hard? And, you know, there's no guarantees in life, but that's what's really frustrating to listening to Charlie Kirk and all these other conservatives is that they're missing the context that what we're facing nowadays. And, I mean, I'm 35, 34, and it's crazy. Like, I work a job and I make pretty good money, but I'm thinking about getting a side job and something on this a side gig just to be able to pay what I need to pay. And I remember growing up, I just worked at a gas station. I was doing pretty well. And that's what's missing nowadays is we just all killed context. We all kill nuance. And it's just so easy to blame men because we'll just walk up from the table and go away, right? But then that just gives more space to women and to get around the circle and just complain and bitch and never really do anything.
And do you know any men that are checked out of the job market, or were you ever checked out? And if so, what's the reasoning? Like, what was their part? Like, was there a situation at work that did it or something like that?
Well, I was working at banking for 2009 to 2015. And I liked it. It was a good job. But what really woke me up was COVID. The fact that the government or whoever, you know, them, could just shut it all down with the push of a button, and my job was meaningless. And that really woke me up into want to do something more in the trades. So for a while, I lost my job. Well, you know, I'm going to be honest. I got fired just because I hated going into work every single day. So I just started, you know, being late, and I just stopped caring because. And this is my own fault, right? But like, you just go on YouTube or your phone and you just see these 20-year-olds driving around in Lambos and these girls making millions of dollars. And, you know, you're trying to be a good guy in your life. You try to do the right thing, but you realize you're just being left behind. So I was out of the job for like 6-7 months. Mm-hmm. And it was really frustrating because it made me question a lot about myself and what I believe in and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But it helped me, you know, find what I really want to do. So it put me on a different path. But I don't blame guys for wanting to be checked out nowadays, because what option really is there when you have Republicans and Democrats and whoever shipping jobs all over the world instead of their own country supporting their own people? So, and then, like, I don't know about every guy out there, but I know for myself, I hated banking because it's all electronic. There's nothing you can touch, you can hold with your hands. And I think that's what's missing nowadays is that a lot of guys just want to work with their hands. They want to see what they're building. They don't want to just get rich because they sold a paper to the news, excuse me, to the newsletter, or, no, I'm not pointing fingers at you, Pearl, or anything, but they, social media, social marketing, all this digital stuff. Like, I really hate the fact that some guy can make millions of dollars just because he did something on Google. Like, you didn't do anything for your society. You didn't do anything for your town. You didn't do anything for your state. Mm-hmm. You're just pushing a button. Like, I don't know. I don't like it, but it makes money.
Got it.
Cool.
Doug MPA, you got anything to ask him?
I do not, man. Thank you for calling. We'll call it anytime, okay?
Yeah, call in anytime.
Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you. Okay. How many people do we have in the waiting room?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people waiting.
Okay. We got a full house today. Good job, guys. Yeah. Thanks for calling in. It makes the shows way better when we get a lot of callers. So I appreciate you guys. Who do we have next?
Okay. I'm going to have this person skip the line only because I saw them in the chat and their name.
What's the name?
Hold on. Let me see if he's there. Okay, I'll fight you naked. Are you there?
Yeah.
Why is that
the
your
name,
username?
bro? What's going on with that? What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Yourself? So, am I on right now?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, sorry. I just skipped right out of the waiting room, so I wasn't sure yet. But for the Crucible, they had to screen people to make sure people weren't coming on to get them TOS'd. But about men checking out of the job market, I'm not really sure how accurate the numbers are. I mean, I'm sure there's a trend, but a lot of people, especially when times are tough, they start going cash work. Like, I did that for a while, especially after the 2008 crash. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people couldn't get good full-time employment, so they would just go cash work. And some guys would actually trade, I'll do this work for you, you do that for me. Other than that, I mean, I think it's kind of, it looks the same way as the guys who are checking out of dating and checking out of trying to have a family. And, it seems like older generations of people have never vacated their positions. They're still in the upper management at 70 years old. They're still in Congress. They're still in the CEO positions. And I guess, the majority population is still white. And if you're a straight white man, you already know that, you're probably not going to get a fair shake in a lot of places, and they're probably not going to tell you. So it wouldn't be surprising if that's right.
Do you think it's okay for a young man to live with his parents in his 20s?
Well, I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, there's plenty of people who wind up through circumstance. I do think if you do find yourself in that position, you better be paying some rent. You better be the one who's mowing the lawn. You should be doing things to help out your parents. You shouldn't be sitting there like you're a kid still. That's for sure.
Okay.
But
what advice would you give like a 20-year-old young man? Maybe he went to community college and he's thinking, should I go on to college? Should I get a trade? Should I just check out? What advice would you give a 20-year-old young man?
I would definitely, if you can, go for trades. Go for stuff that's that's one of the things that was kind of strange about artificial intelligence, the way it's going, is we all assumed, oh, the robots are going to replace us guys like me who swing hammers and dig ditches and, build houses. But apparently, Peterson said this a lot in his work, actually seeing the world is pretty complicated. And then linking that to action is also a tough compute. So I think we're probably going to be employed slightly longer than the coders, that's for sure. Maybe.
Yeah. Did you see the article out right now where that learn to code from like 2016 like 2021 learn to code computer science. Now the market is saturated with computer science people that can't get a job.
That's not surprising, especially with AI helping out now.
Brutal.
And that's the weirdest part. It's the exact opposite of what we thought when I was a kid. We thought all of the people who knew how to program computers would be job secure, and all of us who were doing manual labor of one kind or another, even skilled, would be replaced by robots. Went the other way. It's very strange, but especially if hard backbreaking work is not your thing, any kind of career that requires humanity, for instance, this is probably better for women, but nursing, it's going to be tough before a robot can fake caring about somebody effectively. Mm-hmm. Customer service, personal things where people want a personal interaction, they can kind of fake it right now with telemarketers, but it's not great. And I did have one disagreement with you guys. A previous caller said that he thought women can get whatever they want out of machinery. And that actually looks like it's probably going to go the other way too, because guys can get their friendship pretty effectively from other guys as long as they can find people with similar interests. Mm-hmm. And a robot that's not, as soon as it's not, there's no stigma to having some kind of sex robot. And maybe you could even take it outside as sort of a, I don't know, Stepford wife date or what, I don't even know. But as soon as there's no stigma to that, a lot of guys are going to be fine with that life where they just come home to this, perfect looking robot. But the women won't be, because a robot, you're always going to know that it is faking you driving it crazy. It's faking you making it feel guilty. It doesn't actually feel guilty.
Yeah. How do you, a woman can't just poke at a robot hoping to get a rise out of it.
Well, the thing is, it would simulate it, but they would know it's simulating it, and that would ruin it. Like, they would program the robots to simulate getting mad like a guy would when some woman is needling him for hours on end. But she would always know it's fake.
Yeah. Yeah, who is she going to fight with?
I know, right? Exactly.
Do you know any guys that are checked out of the job market, like young guys?
No. I mean, I don't know a lot of young guys. The last guy who came out of high school, he went into truck driving. He's making really good money at that, but those days are numbered with Musk's auto driving semis.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's I've got a teenage nephew. He's not out of high school yet, but I mean, he's going after it. He's got a part-time job and he's only 16. So, I don't know if this breaks down, because I've heard people, and you can tell me if you're done with me, if you need to move on to the next caller anytime, but
yeah,
a lot of people,
you got like 45 seconds. We literally have like 12 people in the waiting room.
All right. Well, I'll just get out of here now. I'll talk to you next time. Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe, please. We're on our way to 3 million. So subscribe and drop a super chat if you want to support the channel. Thank you for everyone on the Audacity Network. I know it was rocky starting out, but I'm seeing a bunch of people over there. So thank you for being there. Joshua Walls, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How about you?
Hey, Joshua, how are you?
I'm fine.
So what do you think of the topic, men checking out of the job market?
Well, I don't think they should give up, but I get it. I lost a job a few weeks ago. I was fired. My fault. Kind of reminds me of a sentiment I felt. People in the past. Farmers, loggers, tanners. They were married. So what makes a lot of modern women think they were better than the women back then?
Choice. Opportunity.
Makeup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makeup, surgery. Filters is a big one. I was actually wondering that the other day if a guy is meeting women through a dating app and he just gets enough catfishes, does it work? Does he just lower his standards? Is he just like, whatever, I guess this is what it is?
Oh, I've been catfished plenty and sometimes not, but it's a crapshoot either way.
Yeah. Do you know any guys that have checked out at all?
Not by choice. I have a roommate who's on disability and he wants to get back to work. And I had to actually let my other roommate borrow my bike so he could get to work.
So is it just, a lot of guys that have been laid off? Because you said not by choice, so. Or fired.
Sadly, not either. I mean, I've been laid off before. That was a long time ago. I'm 36, and that was back when I was 27.
Was there a specific you said it was your fault that you got laid off, or was it politics?
Fired. I was fired.
Oh, sorry, I meant fired.
I apologize. Basically what happened is I ended up having to do twice the work because my manager, who was a woman, did make what you will of that.
Okay.
Did some paperwork wrong, and instead of getting 3 boxes of items to go in 3 different apartments, I had 50 to 100 items I had to take to each apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I crashed out, as the kids like to say these days, and the next day I was fired.
Oh, see. Okay.
Well, we're gonna move on to the next caller because we got a full call line.
Okay.
But thanks for calling in.
I wish you luck.
Anytime, okay?
Yeah, I wish you luck in the job search. Maybe get a male boss next time. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Dang, that sucks. You have to do
AJ
double the work
again.
because the woman made a mistake and you got fired.
So usually happens. AJ, what's up, buddy?
What's
going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Did you guys see Laura Ingraham and Tommy Lahren talking the other day? Tommy Lahren's going on about men and how
we reacted to that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. So Laura Ingram's 62 and adopted 3 kids.
Yeah, I knew that.
And then Tommy Lahren has no kids. And these are the chicks that are trying to talk about men and why men have checked out. It's that's the reason right there. These boomer chicks and these Tommy Lahrens are the reason why. Because I think men have checked out, honestly. You know how many guys I've talked to. Sorry.
They should have had me on that panel. I think my answer would be imagine if I was there, I would have said, well, guys, I think you guys are proving here why they checked out, because of nagging wives like you.
You guys are, yeah.
I would have broke them. Go ahead, sorry.
On Looney Tunes, where the big hook tries to grab him off the stage, you see Pearl trying to dodge the big hook as they're trying to drag her off the stage because she's telling the truth. No, but I know guys that have been like getting ready for a date, and then they'll get in the car and start driving to the date and just say screw it and just turn around and go home and drink a beer and play PlayStation. Like, guys aren't dating and guys aren't trying to work and pay for these Tommy Lahrens and these, it's just not happening anymore, and no one can like articulate a reason why guys should do so.
The sad part about it is the female employment rate is at 74%. And no one cares, because guys, remember, 1 in 4 women don't work and they stay at home. But now that the employment rate for men is 90%, everyone's losing their minds. 90% of men work,
and we also
don't. And they're like, "Oh my god."
We also have no idea how many men are doing under the table stuff or are like technically unemployed. So it may even be less than that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just to answer the question, though, guys aren't Gen Z and like young millennial dudes. They're sitting there working at Dairy Queen, and they're looking at the chicks slanging, the peanut butter parfaits, making the same, and saying, "Why am I going to give this chick my paycheck to go on a date with her for? Why? And there's no answer other than Tommy Lahren shaming these men, right? When she was talking about being career and strong and independent, but then using the whole Peter Panning thing, if there's something you guys want to react to, Tom Likas had this chick on his show, Kay Heibowitz, and she wrote like Peter Pan and the Promised Land. It was this book about
that one.
Yeah, Peter Panning and how men just aren't growing up. And this is 20 years ago. Doug and Pierce, I'll send you the link, but it's like a good hour long where she actually gets on Tom Likas' show and he cooks her, and then callers cook her too. But she's like talking about how women are strong and independent, but at the same time need to be able to find men that'll take them on. It's like, that's a nonsensical statement. It makes no sense. So anyways, that's all I just wanted to say. If anyone wants to see some hilarity, look at put Twitter and like look at all the posts of that Tommy Lahren, Laura Ingraham thing, and just read the comments.
Thanks for calling in. Okay, call in anytime.
All right, bye guys.
Okay, next we tried to get him on last show. We'll see if he'll come on this time. Daquan, you're up next. Daquan, are you there?
Calling in, okay? Calling anytime.
All right, bye guys.
YouTube's in the background. Gotta turn the YouTube off.
That show. We'll see if it'll come on this time. Daquan, you're up next. Daquan, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You have YouTube on. You gotta turn the YouTube off.
YouTube's in the.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just working. I'm not one of them that gave up on the market. I ain't got no damn choice.
So what do you think of the topic, though? Do you know guys that have made that choice?
I mean, I don't know nobody with a sugar mama,
Yeah, but living at home, not really pursuing like a real career, checking out of the job market. Have you seen that at all? Getting laid off?
I mean, I don't think by choice or whatever like that, because I mean, probably people get laid off. That happens all the time, depending on your job nowadays or whatever like that. But I don't really know nobody that could say they could check out of the job market. We not no OnlyFans model. We got to work. Feel me?
Yeah. So do you think it's okay for a man in his 20s to be living with his parents?
Nowadays, yeah, because it should be illegal for a dude to get married before 30.
Okay. Doug MPA, you got any questions for him?
So let's say you had like a little brother who turned 20 and maybe went to community college or something like that, and wanted advice on what he should do with his life. Should he go to college? Should he stay at home with his parents? Should he go into a trade? What advice would you give him about the current market?
What I was anybody is, I mean, if going to college ain't for you, if you ain't already in 11th grade knowing what school you're going to go to, you probably should just, I mean, especially dudes, I would tell them to do a trade. And if you want to do the military, I would say when you go to the military, like basically like the other dude was kind of saying earlier, but you got to like what you do, but it has to be something that could transfer. Like if you go to the military, you should go there for, like plumbing, mechanic. That way, that way when you get out, you already got the experience of the military. You know what I mean? I tell most dudes that,
Good advice.
Yeah, that's
great. Nobody wants to pay these student loans like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got it.
Hey, Pearl, you my favorite person on the internet, period.
Thank you. That's really nice of you to say.
My girl get mad. She be like, yo, why you watching her?
Tell her to call in.
Well, we definitely could do that tomorrow. I'm gonna let her know I got through the day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm calling from New Jersey.
Okay.
Somebody said 50 Cent. I mean, yeah, that's my home. I fucks with them, but keep doing what you're doing, stuff like that. I'm doing comedy too. I have moved back from Oklahoma back to New Jersey, and I'm gonna be doing stand up.
Cool. All right. Well,
cool, man.
Thanks for calling in. Call in anytime and tell your girlfriend to call in tomorrow. I'll talk to her. If you have any complaints that I should address with her, we can do that live. You can send me your complaints and we'll talk about it.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you. Okay.
That would be hilarious if we did a show. If enough of you guys it would be pretty funny. I would totally do it. But you guys would have to source me the women. If you told me like the parts of your marriage that your wife or your girlfriends are doing wrong, I could bring them on the stream and talk about how we can improve. Put her on a performance plan. That would be so funny.
Okay, next up we have Lech Walesa. Lech, are you there?
Lech Walesa. Hey, thanks for adding me on. So long-time casual viewer of the show. I did not expect to be added on.
Cool.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Well, thanks for calling. What do you think of the topic?
So I think it's more socioeconomical than it is male-female dynamics. So I think every human being at their core wants to have a meaningful market society. You want to do something. Apologies, I have a head cold, if my voice sounds off, that's why. But pretty much most people, they want to do something meaningful to life. They want to achieve as much wealth as reasonably possible without too much extravagant effort or duty on their behalf. So like when people are, it's not a matter of getting lazy, but it's a matter of slowly giving up, realizing that the life or the goal that one initially hoped for, it just isn't realistically realizable. So the stories I'm hearing is not really like someone just stops searching for, say, software engineering job. It's more they get out of college, they apply for 100 jobs a month, and then second month, and then after that, it slows down to, say, 5 jobs a month, and then they're working some casual retail job, but they still have hope that at some point the life that they originally envisioned could come around.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you see a lot of guys that just get frustrated applying for jobs, and so that slowly, sorry, I ate an ice cube, it goes down over time, and then they're like working retail, and they're just starting to like lose hope, sort of.
Me personally, no. Most of my friends are in industry, so like realistically, I have maybe 2-3 people that I've heard of in this scenario, and they're siblings of individuals I know. Everyone I know is either a banker or software engineer or some kind of clinician.
Okay. Thank you, Roulette Wheel, for the super chat. Guys, keep super chatting. I appreciate it. It's going towards the divorce documentary, so I do we do want to get to like I think I could finish it if we got like 50 to 100 around there. Anyways, so I appreciate the supers. Doug MPA, you got any other questions for him?
I do not.
Thanks for calling in. Okay, call in anytime.
Thanks. One last comment, Cora. I think you might find this interesting, but my ex-girlfriend, so she graduated from her master's and then realized that this isn't what she wanted to do, and then didn't really have a plan, and then got a second master's MBA. And now she's been applying around for a year. I asked her recently, like, what her plan is in life, and she doesn't seem to have a kind of any real coherent plan. Like, she's been applying around and failing, and then she says like what she wants to do in the long run is be CEO. And what my understanding of that is like a business or a series of business as owner but not operator, and she can continuously travel.
Sounds like a woman right there, man.
Yeah, good luck.
How much student loan debt does she have?
None. Her parents paid for it.
Oh man. So how much did that cost her parents? 100,000 at least, probably.
It's multiple different masters, so 500.
Yeah, so probably. Are you serious?
Yeah, this is accurate.
You say $500,000 total?
Yeah, undergrad plus multiple masters.
Bro, come on, man. Oh my God. And this is your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend?
My ex.
Okay, good. Because here's the thing with modern women, and if I wanted to open a restaurant, right, I get a job when I was 18 in a restaurant, probably as a busboy or like as a host or something. Then I would work my way up to a server, and then I become assistant manager, and then learn how to cook. So I work in a restaurant for maybe 10 years. Then I would open up my own restaurant, right? So I'd be 28, 30 before I open up my own restaurant. Women think that they could just graduate college or go on TikTok and just start a business.
Yeah.
Like, but do what? Like, you have no skills, like none. Like, so your ex just thinks that she's going to be a CEO. How? Of what?
Good luck.
Why?
No, let her. Encourage her, really. It'll be funny.
Or the new grift in the DC area, in major cities, in New York, DC, Chicago, are women wanting to be consultants. So they get like an MBA, or they get an industrial organizational psychology degree, and they want to become a consultant. But it's like, you're going to get out of college and consult the company on what? Are you serious? So yeah,
they are serious,
ex,
and they mean it. So go date younger and hotter, okay?
All right, buddy. I was here talking to you. Have a good one.
Call in anytime.
You too. Take care.
Okay, next up we have.
Did you see this girl that like had a panic attack and like jumped from her harness? Did you see this?
Yeah, can you show it? Or do you have it? Because I saw I saw the story, but I didn't see the video.
Let me replug in. Sorry, sometimes after I unplug my laptop, but I'll replug it in. Yeah, I'm like, I just don't get it. I'm like, they're like, she wasn't suicidal. I'm like, this looks. I'm not saying it was a suicide attempt, but if I had to, sorry, thank you. If I had to get like, okay, let me show this screen. So, okay. What on earth? She's apparently having a panic attack. That's her. And then she's getting out of her harness.
Yeah, she's parasailing. So she's like 40 feet up in the air or something like that. Yep. Look how far up she is. Look at that.
Why would she?
And let me guess, she can't swim, right?
Well, I think she just died from falling 40 feet, you know? I mean, if that really happened, the operator must be reprimanded. What? Oh, someone said it's not anxiety. It was an influencer trying to make a viral video and she ended up dead. That would make way more sense.
Okay, it says when parasailing, you can typically be anywhere from 200 to 800 feet above the water. Yeah. So she fell a couple of hundred feet. Yikes.
The influencer thing would make way more sense.
Yeah.
She's trying to get a viral video and then die.
But what was she trying to do? Just show herself unbuckling her thing? Like what? I don't get it.
I mean, they're speculating in this. But I mean,
well, some problems solve themselves. Yep. So we're gonna let.
Okay. How many?
Butch, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? Hey, I'm going by an alias tonight.
All right. Well, what do you think of the topic today?
Oh, meaning like the job market and
yeah, not this
men checking out.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see, and this is kind of played out on a larger scale. This is the second time I was called in with Zoom, and like just been walking in the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lack of motivation comes from people kind of questioning the reasons why things need to continue the way they were continuing. So I can understand people checking out, but at the end of the day, you got to kind of do what you have to do for you and for your standard of living and let the other things fall in play. You know what I'm saying? So continuing with your professional network, joining different organizations, you know, doing different. I mean, I was in the middle of making a LinkedIn post right as you guys were connected with me the first time. So I think that's an important pillar to stay busy, keep yourself up mentally, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Financially, that's that part of that component. That finding the skill, finding something that you can do well and that you can scale. So I'm not trying to sound like somebody that's about to sell a course right now, nothing like that. But you know, that's how I look at it. But I do understand people checking out. You know what I'm saying? I do understand men like, hey, what's the point when this is the reward at the end of the tunnel for me?
Yeah, correct.
Do you think it's okay for a young man in his 20s to live with his parents?
You know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as he's making steps moving forward in life. Like as long as he has a plan that he's putting together. I mean, I always almost dox myself on this, but so I joined the military when I was in like my mid-20s, went to college a little bit. Before that, and kind of I finished after I got out. So I think that as long as you have a plan and you're executing on the plan, I don't think there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that, especially nowadays. I mean, back in the day, you got a house for like 50 grand, and then you sold it for 300 or 400 grand. Those days ain't around no more. These interest rates, I mean, I got mine at like 6.7, which is when I hear people say they get their homes at like 2%, I'm like, damn, you know, you paying rent for your mortgage.
Got it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Doug MPA, you got any other questions for him?
I do not. We're literally about to wind this thing down. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Please call in anytime.
Yeah, hey, Pearl. So y'all probably realize who I am by the sound of my voice. But I know you did your half marathon. So I know this is kind of taking y'all off topic. Just like a quick little caveat. Like, what did you do for your training, and like nutritionally, what did you do afterwards to kind of build yourself back up?
For the marathon, I was pretty slow. I don't know if you want my plan. I just Googled 6-month training plan. It's one of the first ones on Google, and I followed it. It's like 1 long run a week, 1 mid run, and 2 shorter ones. I think it's basically the schedule. Nutrition, I kind of ate whatever I wanted, but again, I'm not fast, so there's probably better people you can ask.
Hey, the fact that you got through it is something. Like me, the most I've probably done was 8 miles, maybe 9 miles. But,
it's not really worth it.
2.
You need 2 hours a day to train, and then 2 hours, an hour for me anyways, an hour a day to be tired. I don't know, just for me, but.
And I'm already doing a lot of boxing training, so I gotta.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna take one last caller.
Guys, thanks.
We gotta bring him on.
Thanks so much for calling in, guys. Even if we didn't get to you today, it really makes the shows a lot easier. So I appreciate it. This is, as Doug said, the last caller, though.
Yeah, we gotta bring him in because he made such a good showing last time on the panel. Sean, what's up, buddy?
What's good?
What's up, man? Look at this guy styling and profiling.
How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. How y'all doing?
Can you dump me again today? It was such a great experience last time.
Nah. If everybody wants that, then they're going to have to go to the Audacity Network.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to you after the show from that. I just been busy, but I'll send you an email.
No worries, Doug.
So we can link up.
No worries.
So what do you think about the topic?
Well, I heard it in the back, and you guys were talking about men checking out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Out of the job market. And also, do you think it's okay for a man in his 20s to live at his parents' house?
Yeah. So I'll start with the 20. I think if you are a man living at your parents' house at 20, that's completely fine as long as there's a game plan. So if you got a game
28?
plan, 28, cool. Long as you have a game plan. I using the parents' house as safe haven, as you could say, to go ahead and do your game plan is important. But if you don't got a game plan and you're just playing video games, taking out the trash for mama, and then you just like a son husband, that's terrible. So definitely you need to be at least moving towards some target. And then you got your entry date, how long you're there, and when you're going to get the heck up out of there. And I think that's a good plan. When I was in the military, I always used to come back to the family house, and then I'll be there for a little bit, and then I'm gone. So it's cool. As far as checking out, though, I get it. I understand what people's perspective is on that. But I think guys just need to find a new purpose to life. And, I don't know why checking out is an option. You guys need to eat. You need resources. You need a house. Life is pretty cool. And so I think you have to just go find value in life. Love yourself a little bit. And then you'll be able to move forward and not have to check out. You get what I'm saying?
So what would your advice be for a young guy? Like a guy who's 25, 20 years old?
Yeah. All right. So it depends. Some guys I would tell join the military. But if they're like, I ain't trying to do that, then there's other routes, right? I think that you don't have to look at traditional schooling. Definitely take up a trades. Tradesmen get paid very well. And then while you're doing your job, 9 to 5, guys, everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. I became a multimillionaire, not as an entrepreneur, as an investor. I invested in the market for a long time, over a long period. Real estate, stocks, just keep investing and then just keep working your 9 to 5. It will give you an exit quicker than 30 years, 15 years, you could retire. And so I think that there's massive amounts of opportunity. People just keep lying to you guys about it. I just got a guy hooked up on a house. He bought a duplex and he got paid to buy the duplex, $5,000. He got paid $5,000 to buy a duplex.
Wow. Could you teach him how to do that maybe on the site? Maybe you could do a course.
What's that?
I said, maybe you could teach him on the site how to do that.
Yeah, I could teach anybody on the site. That's no problem. I used to have courses online on my actual courses when I was on YouTube, but people weren't listening. They were always complaining about the problem. But some people were on my Patreon and I helped them and then I stopped. But I don't have a problem with helping you guys out. It's a great house hack. It's a great way to actually get some economics and some success in your life. And then you live free. I'm telling you, there's nothing to be sad about. There's nothing but opportunities. If you're in Africa and you're calling in, you're kind of effed. But if you're in America, then there's a bunch of options available. I'm telling you. I'm a living proof of it. So definitely don't check out, man. Keep pushing forward. Damn that. I'm in Vietnam right now. So life is great. Can't complain.
So what do you think about the guys that you said they need a different purpose to life? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think Aaron Clary wrote a book. It's called The Menu of Life. And so you're going to have to find a new purpose. Like my purpose was always my mission. It's actually never been women. So I just have a different perspective about life. But if it was like, well, I do all this work and I don't get a woman at the end of the day, well, bro, you got resources, right? You could feed yourself. You could retire your father. You could retire your mother. Is that not a good purpose, right? You don't you could help kids out if you want to. You could rebuild your community if you're a real estate investor and you know how to invest. You can house people in Section 8.
You could go buy a surrogate these days if you have enough money, if you really want to.
Bro, you could buy a surrogate. You could go to a foreign country where a girl only needs about $500 to survive, right? And then have a kid and send her $500 to $1,000 a month. And then you could be a father in a foreign land, in a different country, right? That actually respects moms and fathers. It's not always only respecting moms. Like other countries see parents as 50-50. So go to those countries, have kids there. It's not going to be picture perfect, but what I'm saying is the menu of life you have. The previous men from the past did not have that. They only had their community and then that's it. You got the whole world as an oyster. And then somebody's telling you don't got options? Crazy. That's nonsense. You got options all across the world. So just get your money up. And then I don't have money to buy Lamborghinis. I have money to be free.
Yeah.
Money is freedom. Money is options. That's all it is. I don't use it to, I ain't got no flag. I got this from the grocery store. Like, bro, it's no big brand. I don't care about that. I use it to be free and have options. And you guys can do the same. Or you can check out. It doesn't matter. Less competition for me. I'm not gonna lose sleep.
Yeah. Cool.
That
was great. Thanks for calling in. Doug MPA, you got anything else for him?
No, I'll make sure to reach out after the show. I'll send you an email to your email address, okay?
We're getting that breakup. That was the best breakup ever.
Hey, I got you. So shout outs to you. Keep doing what you're doing, Pearl. Shout outs to everybody in the chats. Love life, keep moving, find a new purpose. Go check out the book, The Menu, and go sign up to the Audacity Network, baby. Let's get it. Shout outs to everybody. Peace.
Thank you.
Always good talking to you, brother. Have a good one. Okay. That wraps up the calls.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate everyone calling. I know you guys are busy people with lives. We've had some people sign up for the school group, and I can't believe some of the people that watch me, like very high level, like I don't want to dox, but it's just kind of crazy. You never know who's behind the screen. So I know a lot of you are busy with families, careers, and that sort of thing. So when you guys call into my show, I do really appreciate it. It makes the show a lot better. Doug MPA, you got anything?
Guys, if you can live at your mom's house, do it. Especially if you're going to be forced to not focus on women, live at your mom's house. Seriously. Or your dad's house, or especially if your parents have kept themselves in a position to be able to facilitate you staying at home, and just stack your money up. Especially if you live in a major city like DC or New York or something. Come on now.
Yeah.
So
in London,
don't let women shame you for it either.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
In London, under 30, everyone lived at their parents pretty much when I was there. All right, guys, like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, Doug MPA. A pleasure as always.
Yep. Have a good night.
And leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.